Запустить. Смотрим, все ли сейчас взлетело. И едем. Где мы тут? Вернуться в Twitch. Вернуться ко мне. Канал. Угу. Я есть. Что, дважды? Один раз. Так. Проверка чата. Тинк. Enter. И взлетела. Пробуем сюда. В прошлый раз у меня... Так, это закрыть. Это сюда. Мы с вами начинаем продолжать. Продолжаем начинать. Все как в лучших, так сказать, олдскульных играх. Здесь. У нас остался квест по Шейля. Нам нужно сходить в дом Кадаш. Нужно... Давай, все, поехали. Возобновить. Нужно сходить в дом Кадаш. Разведать. И еще нам нужно пообщать всех наших спутников. Желательно сейчас разговорить Зеврана. Так. Закрыть. Все, телефон мне пока не нужен. Сохранены.
It's been a long day. Rest would be welcome.
Хорошо себя чувствуешь?
Yes, of course. I am just a little weary. As you may have noticed, I'm no spring chicken.
I'm not spring chicken. Да, это трудно не заметить.
Thank you. You're very kind to say so. But in all honesty, I do not know how many years I have left in me. I have lived for such a long time, but there is always something else to do. And I have to keep going in order to do it. I think I will be glad when I am done. Oh, no. I'm not the sort of person that leaves things unfinished. I'll see this through, I promise. Have you encountered many abominations, apart from the ones in the Circle Tower? You are younger than I, and your nerves yet have some steel in them. Did you feel any fear facing the abominations? The first time I saw an abomination, my blood turned to ice. It was months before the nightmares stopped. It was the knowledge that I could easily become one of them that frightened me the most. One slip. All it takes is one slip, and everything you are is simply gone, replaced by madness. And there is no turning back, or at least that's what they say. Of late, I have begun to wonder if there is any way an abomination can be cured, or if a mage could be so possessed and still retain their sanity, their humanity.
Про Коула.
Because every mage lives with this threat. It is constantly on our minds. Do not trouble yourself, though. This is only an old lady giving voice to her musings. What's on your mind? Oh, yes, and thank you for asking. I'm feeling much better today. Well, thank you for your kindness, my dear. It certainly warms these rickety old bones. What's on your mind? Is something troubling you? A Grey Warden should put aside the person that he used to be. It has shaped the person that he is, But he has become something greater. Grey Wardens have no titles. They owe no allegiance to a king or lord. They cannot serve one people. They must serve them all and protect them all. You are one of the 2 surviving Grey Wardens in Ferelden. You defend all of us, and much rests on your shoulders. It may not mean much to you, but thank you for having the courage to continue to fight. And that gives me hope. Have you heard much about the Grey Wardens of old? It was said that watching the Wardens ride in on their white griffins was enough to rouse a weary heart and put the dance back in the step of an old man. The Grey Wardens were powerful, feared and respected, but they also inspired the common people. I remember a tale that was told to me many years ago. The Blight had ravaged the land for months, and the armies of the great kings had amassed for one last stand. As the sun burst through the clouds that boiled and churned in the dark sky above, it illuminated a vast, seething horde of darkspawn, with the archdemon at its head. And it was then, when courage seemed to fail, and all lost to death and despair, that the Grey Wardens came. They arrived with the beating of wings like mighty war drums and stood before the armies of men. The Grey Wardens, grim and fearless, marched forth, ever between the men and the encroaching darkspawn. They formed a shield of their own bodies and held that line until the archdemon was dead and the last darkspawn lay trampled in the dirt. And then, demanding neither reward nor recognition for their sacrifice, the Grey Wardens departed. When the clouds finally rolled back and the sun shone full upon the blighted ground, the great kings knew that they had lost no men, and none of their blood had been spilled. You are observant. This is a tale about no battle the Grey Wardens have fought, and yet about them all. They have always defended us from the Darkspawn, taking losses so we do not have to. People may have forgotten over the centuries, but nothing has changed. This knowledge has been blessing and burden to Grey Wardens past, and now it shall be your blessing and your burden.
And my burden.
What's on your mind? No, you won't. Because you were not looking for the answer, but for someone to tell you that in spite of it, you'll be all right. You wonder sometimes, don't you? If your life would be better if you weren't who you are. When I was a young woman in the tower, I came to the realization that the circle would be my life, and I would know no other. Family, love, a simple life. These were things that others took for granted, that I would never have. It made me very moody. All I could think of was being trapped in that tower with no way out and no end in sight. I started hating my life and myself, and one night I found myself in the tower's chapel. I was seeking refuge, maybe answers. I must have looked tearful or made some noise, because the revered mother came out and decided to speak to me. And because I had no one else to talk to, I talked to her. I must have said many silly things, but she told me that the Maker puts us all on our paths for a reason, and fighting our intended course is what causes so much anguish. I thought the old biddy was full of rubbish. I was 15, maybe 16, and I knew everything. So I left, but I always found my way back to that chapel. And as the years passed, I began to see the truth of her words. We were supposed to be polar opposites, mage and priest. But we weren't. There was much about us that was the same. The revered mother had lived in the chantry all her life, as I had been in the tower for all of mine. She taught me that you can find your family in the people around you, that you can love your work and find fulfillment in duty, and there is joy even in self-sacrifice. If you put others before yourself, then their well-being is yours, and their happiness is your happiness. You can scream and cry and be angry about life as a Grey Warden, or you can accept it and allow yourself to see the good in it. This is your choice.
Okay. This is
What's
my
on your
choice.
mind? I will answer to the best of my ability. The circle is in good hands. Irving knows what to do, and he doesn't need me underfoot. For now, I will support those that battle the Darkspawn. I do feel I left things unfinished in Ostagar. There is so much left to do, and I would be part of it. The Grey Wardens, all 2 of you, need all the help you can get. I will see this through to the bitter end, and after that, if I am still left standing, then I will return to the circle. No, of course I don't. I'm old and unsure of what I'm doing. Actually, I'd rather be in a warm chair in the sun, being served pudding or some other easily digestible food. I know. I was just teasing. The ability to laugh at myself is something I developed too late in life. But to allay your fears, yes, I am sure this is what I want. What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability.
Так, с Вин мы пообщались. Погнали дальше. Ляна.
Have I ever told you I really like the way you wear your hair?
Ко мне подкатывает Барт.
It's very nice and it suits you. Simple. Not like the elaborate hairstyles we wore in Orlais. They involved flowers, ribbons, jewels. One year, feathers were all the rage, and Lady Elise decided she needed to outdo everyone else, and actually wore live songbirds in her voluminous hair. The chirping was quite charming for a while, but you must realize, terrified little birdies often have loose bowels. Yes, you can imagine what she looked like by the end of the evening. But I was trying to say something nice to you, wasn't I? Oh, forgive me. My mind wanders so. It's just that I feel so comfortable talking to you, like I could say anything and you wouldn't judge me. Yes, very much so. I haven't felt this close to anyone in a long time. I really enjoy your company. And what would you do if I said I do? Very much so, in fact. There's no one else I'd rather spend time with. Come then, let's get going. If I recall correctly, you have some important earth-shattering business to attend to. The stars are out. It comforts me to know that the stars will remain untouched by the blight. That whatever happens down here, they will shine eternally. Their light undimmed. There is a story about that cluster of stars over there. Do you know it? Elindra and her soldier? Well, I will tell you this one. A long time ago, there lived a fair maiden called Elindra. She had many suitors, but spurned them all, for she did not love them. One day, Elindra was sitting by her window in her father's castle, singing and dreaming, when her lovely voice caught the attention of a young soldier. Entranced by her song, the soldier drew near to Elindra's window. As their eyes met, he fell in love with her, and she with him. When Elindra told her father about the man she had chosen, he was furious, for Elindra was high-born, but her love nothing more than a common soldier. To keep them apart, he had Elindra imprisoned in the highest tower of his castle, and sent her soldier to the wars. Alas, not a month had passed before news of the soldier's death reached Elindra. Alone in her tower, Elindra wept for her love, and beseeched the gods to deliver her from this cruel world. So earnest was her plea that the gods themselves were moved. They gathered Elindra into their arms and lifted her high into the heavens, where she became a star. The gods also raised up the soul of Elindra's soldier love, and there he dwells, across the horizon from her. The band of stars between them is a river of Elindra's tears, cried for her lost love. They say that when Elindra has cried enough, she will be able to cross the river to be reunited with her soldier. It doesn't end so badly. It ends hopefully. Elindra will one day be with her love again. We don't know when, but she will. This story is one of my favorites, a tale of a love so great and so enduring that it defies death and moves the gods to action. Sometimes I ask myself, does such a love exist? Can it exist? I never expected you to say that. It is a pleasant surprise. I have to say there is a certain severity to you. Finding a person behind that all is nice. Maybe you should let your softer side show more often. Sometimes following your heart, not your head, leads you to remarkable places.
Окей. Не, подожди, стон нет. Пожалуйста.
At your service. Of course. You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden? You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was, "You'll see." Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret. It's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant topic. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare, then laugh themselves to tears. More like an initiation. They all went through it too. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, well, I don't know what you call it, their group mind. And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. It's supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you? Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare. Others have trouble sleeping their entire life. They're just more sensitive, I suppose. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come. Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part, did we? Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take. The Taint, it's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. And there you have it. You know, Duncan, he started having the nightmares again. He told me that in private. He said it wouldn't be long before he'd go to Orzammar himself. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him. Why? Because he made you take the joining? You know why you're here, and it isn't because of him. Maker's breath! I can't believe you'd even...
Надеюсь, я мискрикнула.
At your service.
Окей.
Of course. You mean other than becoming a grey... You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was... I'd slurp down every dinner. And when we sleep, everyone ends up the same, though. The taint. It's a death sentence. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been... I know. Ending the blight should make this all work.
Вот, F5 готово. Такое.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes. Every land has its assassins. Some are simply more open about their business than others. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable? No? That is too bad. If you were, then surely you would spend as much time boasting about it as I do. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else. Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather, perfect craftsmanship. But I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no? Yes, and now here I am. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a beautiful Grey Warden, a woman who then spares my life? I could not. I say you are beautiful because it is true. Should I not? And glad I am to hear it. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal. Here I
Надо
am.
всех переобщать, нельзя просто так взять и...
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. I know little enough of the Dalish other than the fact that my mother was one, or so I was told. She had fallen in love with an elven woodcutter and accompanied him back to the city, leaving her clan behind for good. And there, of course, the woodcutter died of some filthy disease and my mother was forced into prostitution to pay off his debts. Oldest tale in the book. Is it? It seemed normal enough a tale growing up. No different than the other elven boys in the whorehouse. I didn't know my mother either, of course. She died giving birth to me. My first victim, as it were. We were all raised communally by the whores. It was a happy enough existence, ignoring the occasional beating, until eventually I was sold to the crows. I brought a good price, so I hear. It could have been much worse. Shall I tell you about what happened to the other whorehouse boys who did not fetch a decent price with the crows? Surely your life has not been so idyllic. People like you and I are not the product of happy lives of contentment, after all. Are we so different, you and I? Buffeted by the winds of fate, brought to this point by both circumstance and excellence. Oh, you are too kind. My original point is that my mother's Dalish nature was always a point of fascination for me. Through all the years of my crow training, the one thing of my mother's that I possessed was a pair of gloves. They were of Dalish make, I knew that much, and beautiful. I had to keep them hidden, of course, as we were not allowed such things. Eventually, they were discovered, and I never saw them again. Oh, there has been plenty. To tell the truth, it is because I expected nothing more. Still, even I eventually thought that it would be better for me if I ran off to join the famous Dalish when one of their clans drew near Antiva city. Naturally, the reality did not live up at all to the fantasies I had constructed as a boy, staring at those gloves. But such is life. Come, enough talk of the Dalish. Let us move on.
Ты чё, пёс? Какой -5? В смысле?
Oh, how...
I shall treasure it.
4 в 5.
Here I am.
Treasure it.
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. I know And there, of course, the woodcutter died of some filthy disease, and my mother was forced into prostitution to pay off his debts. Oldest tale in the book. Is it? We were all raised communally by the whores. It was a happy enough... My original... I had to keep them hidden, of course, as we were... Not at all. I think of...
Ну так, +2 уже хорошо.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Well, now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it? Now that you mention it, I am not entirely certain. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased, for 3 sovereigns, I'm told, which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder, and if you do poorly in your training, you die. Of course, you compete against your fellow assassins, and those who survive are rightfully proud of it. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth, gets you women, and men, or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining. I fancy many things. I fancy things that are beautiful, and things that are strong. I fancy things that are dangerous and exciting. Would you be offended if I said I fancied you? You did ask, remember. But I believe we were talking about my leaving the crows. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go. And here I am, happy to be had. Isn't it wonderful how things work out that way? Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
Да, блин. Чё вообще происходит?
Here I am. Oh, this should be... I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, I was but a boy of 7. The crows by all their assassins that of. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. I fancy many things. I fancy things that are beautiful. As for what it might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go. Everything changes, my friend. Come now, enough Here I am. Oh? I was simply never given the opportunity. The crows by all their... But that does not mean doing what is... I certainly hope so. I have earned the crows a great deal of money. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Eventually, can be a very, very long time. Come now.
Да ети тебя в жопу, ладно. Потом. Огрен, Лилиана. Общались. Что у нас тут? Там. Я хотела Везя перевытащить руны. Сендал.
Enchantment!
Enchantment. Дун-дун-дун-дун. Хранитель клятвы достать. Наследие. Подмастерье великого мастера. Против мертвецов. Новичка, подмастерье, мастера, молния. Домер умеет 6 разить. Враждебную магию. Годится. Что тут? 6 против мертвецов, 8 к враждебной магии. Шипастый молот, Огрен. Алистер, ого. Электричество, физическая сопротивляемость, 4 урона электричества. Рождение тьмы. Евран, Юсарис.
If there's anything I can do for you, please.
Давай,
Well,
что с тобой
if you're really
случилось?
interested, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to tell you. I'm originally from Orzammar, just as you are, I suspect. You don't have the look of a surface dwarf about you. I was a merchant there, too. Merchant caste. These things are in the blood, you know. You can't just leave them behind. I ran a fairly successful business. Rare artifacts, you know. Old things, grand things. The nobles loved them. Reminded them of the lost glory days, I suppose. One day, a noble woman came to my store. She looked at... He'd been... She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that. Well, I didn't steal them. You see, I'd been... The lost tigers. They're full of things that people left behind. That's exactly... Bribed the guard that was watching me and took off for the surface first. You're quite welcome. Now, is there anything the boy, or I, can... The dark spawn have attacked Lothering. I don't think everyone even had fled by the time they came, either. Word has it they swarmed the entire area, making off with prisoners and burning down the... I wonder if there's anyone left. I heard some chanters were going to head down south, maybe to try to find some survivors. I'm not holding out hope myself. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is. Look, we don't rob people, all right? We don't take things from people that need them. The things in the Lost Tigers, what good did they do lying there? I brought them back to Orzammar, where people could look at them and remember. It's not all that different up here. There are places long abandoned by the humans everywhere. Even more, people flee from the Blight with good reason, but they forget things. Things with value and meaning. And is that so bad? That's what I tell myself, too. I'm sure you'll...
Show me. 131 золота. Склянки есть, реагент для возгонки купить. Концентрирующий реагент. Купить. У кого там? Огрен. Пофиг. Что? F5. Мы идем
Yes.
по подземельям шастать.
Yes.
Нам нужно в Тейк Ортон. Да вы шутите. Чего опять-то? О, Денерим.
Sire, I have more news. Oh, yes. Well, it seems that the fighting has gone
Enough.
exactly as you...
I would like to know what you intend to accomplish, Father. Should we not be fighting the Darkspawn instead of each other?
The nobility should be brought into line and then the Darkspawn defeated. This is no true blight, Honora. Only Kaelin's vanity demanded it be so.
Beg pardon, sire. But blight or no, we may not have the manpower to face the Darkspawn soon.
Kaelin approached your legions for support, did he
Never!
not?
Marek and I drove those bastards out!
Our
Not
legions
roll
doesn't-
out the welcome for them now!
We need help, Father. We cannot deal with this crisis alone.
Ferelden will stand on its own! I will lead it through this, Honora. You must have faith in me.
Did you kill Kaelin?
Kaelin's death was his own doing.
Конечно. Овндуинг. Предводитель. Это. Нет, у меня были всякие яды.
Yes.
Чё ты стоишь тут, Вин? Можно узнать?
If you insist.
As you say,
Так, а теперь подожди. Что у нас тут? Большое зелье лириума. Зелье лириума.
Where do I go?
Don't look now.
Сюда отойди.
Speak!
Trap. So simple to see, really.
are we going to battle?
Собираем лут.
Yes.
Денежков. Шкаф.
And I'm off.
Там еще собрать. Труп человека. О!
I fell.
Ты очень наблюдательно.
For a moment there, I thought it was all over. Everything. I will explain everything when we are back at camp. Now is not the time.
Now it's not the time. Кстати, что у нас по ядам? Животные, 500, да? Ага, вот куда неоскверненные реагенты нужны. Ладно.
The Assembly paid you great honor, Warden.
Погнали в Тейк-Кадаш. Через перекресток Каридина.
I sense some dogs.
А можно мне похитить?
Yeah, not bad. All right, I'm game.
Бутыль с кислотой — это вкусно. Бутыль с кислотой — это хорошо. Да боже, вы можете тихо еще на мне сделать?
Yes.
Наушники.
This is it. Kadash Taig. Perhaps. It may also be where I was found. These ruins are always overrun by vermin. There may be something noteworthy further in, however. Was this the home once? Did I live here?
I sense some dogs. Huh. Go away.
Direct me.
Направь меня. Направь на общий хил патечки.
Saving the day!
Go on.
Oh look! It wants to fight! Have at you then! Alright. Going.
Strange Crystal Cluster. Нет, это не эльф, это мы пошли там, где, там откуда Шейла родом. Ее квест. Да. Сказала, я вспомнила кое-что, пошли прогуляемся. Я такая, окей, погнали. Это под землей, видишь? Ты их кадаш. Да, ну не DLC-шка, а в какой-то мере да. Типа то, что она компаньон, которого можно с собой брать на глубинные тропы. Гарлок эмиссар.
As you say.
Yes.
Взрыв разума. Было бы хорошо, если бы она еще двигалась, когда взрыв разума кастует.
What's there any sound?
Just so you know.
У эльфов там немножко другие пейзажи. О, один золотой. Один золотой, это вкусно. Это хорошо. 12 сила сложения, минус 3 сила, минус 3 сила воли. Опять. Нам еще надо пойти этот флемет убить, если вы помните. По просьбе Морика. Можно, конечно, не убивать. Я вижу ничего.
Whatever was once here is gone.
Все, что здесь когда-то было, уничтожено. Где?
I shall do so.
Где-то здесь. А, это эти глубинные охотники.
All right. And I'm off. Huh.
Рук гляди. И стрелу пучечка лежит. Почти. Сейчас не да обобрала. Путь.
Trap.
Где? Вот.
So simple to see, really.
Все, пошли. Камечки. Беремная пыль. Ладно. Здесь перегорожено. Сундук. Тоже перегорожено. Че костей. Длинный лук. Дальше.
One composed of solid rock, yes?
Ну, тут ничего нету больше, тут ничего нету. Отлично. Че костей?
All right. And I'm off. Look over there! All right. Yes. Surely you're joking! Now what is that? How about you then? Too fast for you! If you insist! Not bad! Not bad at all! Going.
Crawling with filth. Typical.
Поднялись просто сюда.
Eyes? Don't say that. If I must.
Time to end their pathetic little existences. Oh yes, run! Run in fear!
Там разберутся, мы пока подлатаем все, что плохо лежит. Чекаемся тут. Да ты этот...
And I'm off.
Ух, ебать, а чё вас так много? Блин, давай мне этот силовое поле, а то меня сейчас тут затыкают. Не носи. Бля. Я у мамы особенная. Help, I need somebody.
Let's do this quickly. Shall we? All right.
Ты чё, мать?
You're victorious.
Okay, this is getting exhausting.
На меня напали крикуны, закричали.
Going.
Смотрим, что мы тут обшабуршали. Обшабуршали что-то.
Ха.
Ладно.
Immediately.
I shall do it.
Your orders?
Smashing time.
Не вот такую.
Not enough. Going.
Денежки, денежки. Кого еще можно выбрать? Никого. Никого, никого.
I'm uncertain what I hope to find here.
Я не уверена, что я хочу найти здесь.
Immediately.
All right.
Time to end their pathetic little existences.
Do you really wish? Beaten by an old...
We'll have a smashing time, won't we?
Так, ты этого бьешь, а ты вот этому делаешь.
Yes.
Ясно.
Yes.
Бежать.
I'm up.
Why did we get You're gonna get
Два к ловкости, два к броне. Конечно, я надену всегда это. Ботинки Кардашан. Очень хорошие ботинки. Рекомендую. Так, пошли смотреть. Что тут повыпадали? Повыпадали. Пять к хитрости, 6 к атаке, прерывание заклинаний. Тю, конечно, я его надену. Охрененная штука. 5. Для разбойника только в путь. Шейл,
What is this?
что это?
This
Я это
I
помню.
remember. It has dates and names. This is to honor those who volunteered, those who became golems. And there is my name, Shale of House Kadash. Just as Karadin said. I remember now. I remember, Shale. That was me. Wonderful to remember being a soft, squishy creature of flesh. Perhaps. I will need to think on these things I have learned. Perhaps I will speak to it of them soon. For now, let us carry on as we have.
Плач камня, достижение разблокировано. Шейла одобряет плюс 23. Сколько у нас с тобой? Тепло относится ко мне, Шейла. Так, все кристаллы пособирала. Да. Пошли обратно в лагерь.
Yes.
Да, нам нужно в лагерь, и нам нужно перетащить руны из моего одного
I
меча в
think
другой.
I
О.
owe you an explanation for what happened earlier. You should know that something happened to me at the tower before you came along. You spoke to Petra, did you not? She told you I saved her from a demon. I did, but I did not survive that encounter.
Никогда не слышала, чтобы так долго и старательно умирали.
Let me explain fully. I engaged a very powerful demon to rescue Petra. It sapped me of all my energy and will and left me drained. It took everything I had to defeat it. And when I was done, I no longer had the strength to keep my heart beating. I remember my life ebbing away. Everything receded from me. Sound, light. I remember being enveloped in complete, impenetrable darkness. And
Да,
then
ее
I
невозможно
sensed
романтить. Ты чё,
a
Галема?
presence
Извращенец.
enfolding me and
Зачем бы я
cradling me,
романтила Галема?
whispering quietly to me. The sensation is impossible to describe. I was being held back, firmly but gently, as a mother would a child, eager to slip from her grasp. I felt life and warmth flowing through my veins again. I began to be aware of small sounds and the discomfort of my hip pressing into the cold stone of the tower floor. The Fade contains spirits both benevolent and malicious. The benevolent spirits seldom make themselves known, because they want nothing from mortals, unlike the demons. It was one of these spirits that saved me. Without it, I would be dead. And it has not left me. It is with me, even now, bonded to me. You see, I am supposed to be dead. It is the spirit that is keeping me in this world. And this is not the way of things. Perhaps the spirit did not expect this, but
В
it is
книге «Маска
weakening
призрака»
gradually.
Убин
I
своей
am
жизнью спасет
living on borrowed time.
храмовника, отдав ему храмовницу, если быть точнее, храмовницу Эвелин. Когда та будет на грани жизни и смерти, она передаст своего духа. Потому что эта храмовница возлюбленная ее сына. Вот вам спойлеры. Вот так вот. Тогда распорядимся этим временем
Yes,
достойно.
that we will. What's on your mind? I have always had an affinity for the spirits of the Fade. As a child, I never feared my dreams because I knew they were there. I could sense the demons, too, and their presence frightened me. It was the kindly spirits of the Fade that took the fear from me. I've always been able to feel the spirits, even if I never saw them. And as I nurtured my talent in the circle, I became more sensitive. I began to notice every time I was in the Fade, whether it was in a dream or in magical practice, that I was being watched. I suppose they must. It is these benevolent spirits that create our dream worlds in the Fade. Sometimes I would see it, a glowing, nebulous form. Most times I would just feel its presence, gentle and comforting, but somehow alien. I think it is a spirit of faith. They have never been seen before, and perhaps I am wrong. But something tells me I'm not. It always felt like the same entity. This one spirit was curious about me, and was guarding me, for want of a better word. There were times when I was in the Fade that it seemed to stretch forth to shield me, keeping me safe. And I think it gave me strength in my most terrible battles, Ostagar being one of them. I don't know why I was chosen. Perhaps it knew that there was something more that lay in store for me. I like to think that I was given a rare chance, and I'm going to make the best of the time so generously given to me. I will not lie motionless in a bed with coverlets up to my chin, waiting for death to claim me. That is not the death for me. And so I will fight alongside the Grey Warden, and help prepare her for the task that is yet before her. So you had better listen to me, because I swear, if I should fall before the end and you don't seem to be doing things properly, I'll get up again to give you a good finger-wagging. You know, I think you'll be all right, even without my help.
Enchantment?
Very nice indeed.
Мне лучше. I will check it later. Так, F5.
You and your friend... I'm sure...
15.
I have a question for it, if it will indulge me. It chose to side with Caradon and destroy the Anvil of the Void. I agree with its decision, and yet the Paragon Branca was the reason it ventured into the Deep Roads. Why did it choose to defy her? It could not have known for certain that Caradon would be able to assist it with the dwarves. That was quite the risk. I am pleased that it worked as it did. At any rate, I wanted to thank it. It gave Caradon the end he wanted, and I'm pleased to have been a part of it. I will have to think on Caradon's words to me. It was a great deal to absorb, but for now, let us go on. It speaks.
Что, мы пойдем? Пойдем. Видели
Yes.
с вами точно. Нам нужен
Yes.
старалист.
Yes.
О, сейчас меня будут убивать. Едить, колотить.
I shall do so.
Но у нас что? Конечно же, у нас вылет. Загружаемся заново. Возобновить.
Yes.
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 Мы шли в земли Бана Лорена за квестом возвращения в Астагар. Да, красиво все. Новая способность Вин. Стэн, иди ударь его по горбу. Алистер сюда.
So be it.
Some darkspawn.
Устойчиво, устойчиво. Алистер. Где это говно? You need help. Жаль. Разворачиваемся. Там Игорь псешит.
Your orders?
Where do I go?
Oh no, you back!
Yes!
Прошу простить.
Going. That was interesting and draining. I didn't know I could either. I called forth the spirit that sustains me so that it could lend us aid. I did not realize it would take this much out of me. It seemed a good idea at the time, if a little rash. I think it may have weakened the spirit a little. Anyway, I feel quite all right now, and it seems that my little trick could be useful in a pinch. I promise I'll be careful. And thank you.
Да, мое беспокойство очень трогательно. Я такая вся мур-мур-мур. Трогательная. Трогательная, трогаю. Да тут, сюда. Пошли. К своему удивлению, вы знаете форму почетного короля Кайлана. Вы вспоминаете, что сражались плечом к плечу с этим человеком при Астагаре. Присмотреться к страже. Стража носит цвета бана Лорена, мелкого феодала, известного дурной привычкой иметь союзников 5 раз на дню. И ринуться в бой. Черт подери.
Going. Yes. If you insist. Huh. Yes. Look over there.
It's a gasher!
Вблизи этого человека нельзя не узнать. Это Элрик Морейн, из почетного короля Кайлана при Астагаре, к тому же доверенный человек короля.
Thank you. I didn't expect the band's men to notice my escape so quickly. I tried to hide here in the woods, but there wasn't time. And now I'm a dead man. You were there in Ostagar. You know how things went. For me, it was either this, or die in some darkspawn's belly, or be hung as a deserter. You were there with the Grey Wardens, one of Duncan's new recruits. I was to guard the king. He was my friend, understand? Make all that time in Ban Loren's prison, and I couldn't stop thinking about all they suffered that one dark night at Ostagar. I know, even had Logain's men not turned their backs on us, the Darkspawn were too many. Even Cailan, for all his bravado, knew there would be no victory at Ostagar. The king entrusted me with the key to the royal arms chest. If anything were to happen to him, he said, it was vital I deliver it to the wardens. The Maker has a sense of humour, doesn't he? I suppose it's for the best, however. Had I kept it, it would be in Ban Loren's hands by now.
But you said Cailan entrusted it to you.
I was afraid. I thought I would lose it on the battlefield, so I stashed it in the camp. Please, it's probably still there. The key's behind a loose stone at the base of a statue. I'll draw a map for you, so you'll know where to search.
You'll be taking me along, won't you? Call me sentimental, but I left behind some dark spawn that really deserve a sword through the middle.
The events at Ostagar still haunt my thoughts, Warden. If that is where we are headed, I would like to accompany you.
It is vital that the king's documents do not fall into the wrong hands. As for Marik's sword, it is too powerful to be pawed at by those monsters. Same for the king's other arms and armor. And if you happen to find Cailan's body, see it off. He was our king. He shouldn't be left to rot amidst the Darkspawn's filth.
And I'm off.
Да. Возвращение в Астагар, но мы пока туда не пойдем. Я хочу. Сейчас в лагерь хочу сначала сохраниться. В5. А теперь мы пойдем.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Blood and damnation.
Yes.
Frontline. Так забавно, они доспехи легиона на стене смотрятся. Типа гномишь доспехи. Гноми доспехи смотрятся на стене полный рост. А он как бы как 3 гнома друг на друга. Все равно на вас.
And here we are. Soldier's Peak. Maker's breath. Look at the size of her. What a fortress. I told you the map would get us through the tunnels.
Просто признай, что
I
есть
wasn't
колено.
lost, it's just that the map got soggy. Bah, we're here. So, I'll follow you about, from a distance. This place has the stench of death. I expect there's trouble up ahead.
Soldier's Peak. Looks like it's seen better days. Better centuries, more like.
Better centuries, more like.
Fall back! Fall back already!
Taking the peak will not be easy, my lord.
I gave the wardens one chance to die with honor. Instead, they hole up like cowards. We follow the king's advice, then. Starve them out.
But the peak has months of supplies.
Then we wait. When they are too weak to lift their weapons, we will send them to their final judgment.
What was that? Felt a bit woozy there. I'm not mad, am I? You saw it too. How's that possible? This place truly is haunted. The Veil? Demons? Thank Andraste you came, Warden.
After you.
Интересно, как мне интересно.
More of these? Well, all right then.
Волочащийся мертвец. Еще есть.
Emma, this should be fun.
Стоп.
You insist.
Статью. Ancient History. Древняя история. Pixel Data. Learn more about the history of Soldiers Peak. You have uncovered some of the history of the base at Soldiers Peak. There may be more to learn, and perhaps you should seek it out.
All right. Going. All right.
Silenced it.
Да. Быстрое прицеливание. Быстрое прицеливание — это прекрасно. Мы сможем его продать за много денег.
And I'm off.
Приятного аппетита.
The men's morale is low. My spells are of no use in this matter, Commander.
There is more to leading men than sorcery, Avernus. I will remind them that they're wardens. Men! I won't lie to you! The situation is grim. Our forces outnumbered, our bellies empty, and our hearts are sagging. But we are wardens! Darkspawn flee when they hear our horns. Archdemons die when they taste our blades. So are we to bend knee to a mere human despot? No! I, for one, will never give up! I, for one, will never surrender just to dance on Arlen's gallows. So I propose here and now, in these hallowed halls where generations of our brethren stood vigil against darkspawn and evil, that we send a message to that fat bastard. In this sacred place, proud men, strong men stood defiant, and would rather die than submit to tyranny.
So brave, even when starving, and my great-great-grandmother stood with them. Not much is known of King Arland. The War of Succession that followed his death, now that was a piece of work. Lasted nearly a decade, and almost burned Denerim and the palace to the ground. Loads of history was lost, but maybe there's answers to that inside. But I've gabbed enough. Lead on, my friend.
Huh. All right. Huh.
Point me!
Я не взяла ни единого этого. Кто дурачок? Я дурачок.
One never expects creatures like that. Going. Yes. Huh.
Записка.
Going.
Arlan believed Rowan was plotting against him. Rowan considered that against spending on. It was an idle word spoken out of turn. I beg you, help us. If nothing is done, more will suffer.
Huh.
Behind you!
Going.
This should be fun!
Going.
Nice try!
Maker!
Need a little rest here. And I'm off.
You have no hope, fleshling!
Performed as I expected.
And I'm off.
And
Too fast for you! If you insist!
The door won't hold, Archivist.
Almost done. The truth must be told.
What does it matter? We're dead.
Our grand rebellion so close. And to die here, a stillbirth.
We never should have done it. Wardens aren't supposed to oppose kings and princes.
Should we stand idly by while...
Another one. Rebellion? What's this about a rebellion? If only the book weren't burned. But Sophia must have had her reasons. The Wardens are heroes. Some injustices just can't be ignored. We can only hope.
We can only hope, yes.
Make them pay for every inch, men! Hold the flank! Avernus, we need you!
Nelatep, Obrasuth, Sithan, Net Bekon.
Andraste's blood! What?
More Avernus! Whatever it takes!
Keli, E, Benfotos, Victos!
Press them! Press them now!
No! I command you, fight the king's men!
Fool! So much death, suffering, and oh yes, blood. The veil is torn now. Your soul is mine, Avernus.
Acolytes, retreat now! The battle is lost!
Avernus!
What just happened? Oh no, more fighting.
What?
Rage Demon. Давай ты вот так вот. Нет, пожалуйста. Окей. Ты вот так вот. Ты вот так вот. И ты вот так вот. Отлично теперь.
So awful.
В чем дело?
I shall do so. Now we go into battle. I shall do so.
All right.
Natara!
You dare!
Going. Huh.
Where now?
Мы бегаем. Бегаем. Мы бегаем. В смысле ты отхилился? Ты страж. Чё, вообще все закончилось? Ты все выжрала? Охренеть. Охренеть. Побежали. Так, ты...
We must fight.
Парка. На себя давай.
Saving the day. Look over there! much better than that!
Ebostisala! Time to taste steel!
Oh look! It wants to fight!
Yes.
And I'm off. Nice try! That won't stop me!
The Wardens summoned demons. Can't believe it. And my grandmother, she knew. I believed that my family was better than that. But answers may lay up ahead.
Winter's breath.
All right.
F5. Мы как-то выжили этот бой.
Going.
To this,
Yes.
doesn't it?
А здесь больше некуда не идти, да? Да. Ну ладно. F5.
Going.
Step no further, Warden. This one would speak with you. This one is the Dryden, Commander, Sophia. All these things.
Grandmother?
You have slain many of the demon ilk to get here. This one would propose a deal. This one has tasted her memories, seen her thoughts and hidden places. But she is food for this one. No more, no less.
That, or she's really let herself go. My great-great-grandmother is dead. I don't know what that is.
What is one woman-child compared to your might? Strike me down if my terms offend. A fool this one would be to betray the Warden.
The Kyun is quite clear in matters of demons. Destroy them quickly, efficiently. Enough talk.
Deal with me now, warrior, and you will thwart many of my kind. This one will explain. The Soldier's Peak traps me. This one sees so many tantalizing places in the Dryden's memories. This one would see the world herself. For me to be free, into the Old Mage Tower you go and destroy. In return, this one seals the veil. No more demons, no more enemies. Your peak would be safe. Just let this one go into the world. This one knows all, but will only talk after the tower lies broken. This one will roam, this one will see, this one will feed. But without me, the veil will grow weaker. More demons, more misery. You choose just one of my kind, or many. The magics, all moving things, the very stone if you have the power. Something inside keeps my kind locked away. Then you are a fool!
The unnatural always smells so
bad.
If I must.
And stay down.
And I'm off.
You're victorious.
Охренеть.
Ха.
Все на английском, блин. Калистер, сколько у тебя? Показатели 34, а надо 38, 38. У тебя 34. Ваксиля. Давай мы возьмем шлем, возьмем кольцо. Теперь Алистер надевает шлем, надевает кольцо. Раз, два, три. Для двужильных возвращаем. Кольцо снимаем. Есть. Теперь середа возвращаем шапков. Стэну возвращаем кольцо. Покажись, красавчик. Обалдеть. Вот это мой мальчик.
I can't believe my great-great-grandmother was still alive. Well, sort of alive, sort of dead. I need a drink.
Going.
I need a drink. All we need, Levi.
Don't look now. Trap. Yes. Huh.
How amusing!
That should not have taken as long as it did.
Huh.
Поехали дальше.
Going. Yes.
It wants to fight!
Пропусти меня, Леви.
And I'm off.
Дринк. Нашел что-то непонятное, обязательно выпей. You have access to new abilities. Кайф. Давай групповое очищение сделаем.
Day 32. The subject is not responding to the stimuli. Testing the pain threshold has uncovered nothing. Only 3 subjects are left. Day 82. If only I could reproduce last night's extraordinary success. Electricity is only a catalyst. The blood is the key. Day 97. Energy and blood. Repeated applications have duplicated the results. I conjecture that success can be induced alchemically. But there are no more subjects left. If only I had 1 more, or a dozen. The things I could do.
Huh.
I hear you. Don't disrupt my concentration. Even now, the demons seek to replenish their numbers. Are you to thank for this welcomed but temporary imbalance? Only just. I have only a short time left. Why are you here? What is your intent? They were necessary. Any tool, any iota of information that could defeat the fell demons was justified. As a warden, you should know that.
Necessary. Having to relieve yourself after an 8-hour ride is necessary. But there's no excuse for summoning demons.
Charming. A combination of my research and blood magic. But even without that, who else would brave Soldier's Peak? Agreed. This must be the first priority. The only priority. An admirable goal. But in order to achieve this, the demons must be cut off forever. To what questions, I wonder? Ask. To stop the demonic tide, to correct the miscalculations of the past. Blood magic comes from demons. They could counter every bit of law I knew. But the Darkspawn taint, that is alien to them. And it has power. The Wardens use it merely to sense Darkspawn. A triviality. My research has discovered so much more, hinted at even greater heights. This knowledge could not only save Soldier's Peak, with it the Wardens could grow even more powerful. I have done what I must. But let me undo my greatest of mistakes. Let me cleanse this place. Then I will accept whatever justice you feel I merit. You've already read my research. But in time, with the proper materials, I could learn so much more. Yes? The Chantry foolishly forbids blood magic, but there are so many secrets to uncover. As my body decayed, I found ways to extend it. But that can only go so far.
Да тише!
Master Mage, sir, my family name has been worth less than dirt for over a century. Do you have any proof that Sophia was a hero?
The boy who braved the mists. So you heeded my call. Ha 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 ha, and you are a Dryden. The cosmos has a sense of humor. He was but a boy when he entered the tunnels below the peak. His heart pure, his character certain. In dreams I gave him the keys he would need. He would be my deliverance. Your great-great-grandmother was the best of us. Brave, charismatic, fiery, utterly devoted to the fight. But still we lost. We fought against a tyrant, you know, so full of vigor then, so blind to consequence. But proof? There's none to be had.
I had hoped. But thank you, Warden.
What use would storytelling serve? The tyrant Arland is long dead, as is all our noble co-conspirators and the Grand Rebellion. Sophia's corpse may walk and talk, but she, too, is no more. He ruled with fear and poison, his treachery pit noble against noble in terrible battle. We thought him a monster. We gathered allies to rebel. But the toll of years has erased our failure, hasn't it? It seemed so pressing then, but the kingdom lives on. Too many mouths to quiet. Even sorcery can only go so far. So we met with Tyrn Kuzland. With him on our side, we had a chance of victory. Instead, the King's Guard ambushed us. Commander Dryden and I barely escaped. Of course, to nudge people to keep our secrets safe. Sophia should have let me nudge harder. Her scruples were her undoing. I had considered the possibility of failure. But so many demons breaking free was more catastrophic than I had postulated. But my course was clear. I had to get to safety to contain the demonic threat. I took only those who would not impede my goal.
You're heartless bastard, you know that, right?
Perhaps, but it was survival. For months, I prepared the summoning circles, researched the darkest depths of the Fade. That moment was a triumph of demonic law. Dozens of demons, called by my hand. But with so many variables, I suppose, calculation errors were inevitable. I was so close. She gave the order. I would have summoned the demons anyway. Only under wardens can true magical research continue. A chance to rediscover the secrets of ancient Tevinter. Chantry lies told to subjugate the mages, to keep them docile. And how do you know they are right? Their faith would have you swallow a great deal for small comfort. Yes. So be it. My only request, if justice or vengeance drive you, stay your hand until the demons are dealt with. That will do for now. We must go to the Great Hall. There I will repair the damage I caused so long ago. There will be peril. The demons will fight us every step of the way. Come.
Come. Come, karam. Курум. Задание обновлено.
We must act quickly. The demons are clawing on the gates. The veil must be closed. I will unravel the summoning circles I drew so long ago. Waves of spirits and demons may come through. Dispatch them. I will begin. First, I must summon the magical energies. I feel them. They're coming.
Так, Вин, давай ты отойдешь куда-нибудь вот сюда, спасибо. Да отойди, что дурочка, ты чё? Вот это, наверное, можешь теперь кастануть групповое очищение.
Let's do this quick, shall we?
Так.
Before dead Shithan, O brave
Можно прекратить меня жарить? О, демон желания Дизаря.
Alright.
What was done?
Need a little rest here.
Go down.
Alright. Take that. Oh.
It's over. The veil is strong now. Stronger, at least. I said I'd submit to judgment. And so I shall. Can I be left to experiment in peace? With what time I have left, I will do this. It may take months or years for my research to reach fruition. When it does, I will send for you. Thank you for this, Warden.
You've done it, Warden. Soldier's Peak is safe again. That old geezer Avernus deserves the gallows if you ask me, but people will do queer things to survive. But if he does the proper research, without the sacrifices and blood magic and all, maybe he'll turn up something good. But there was no proof to redeem my family. For so long, I was focused on the past, on answers. But I think I would have been better off had I stayed at home. Enough of that, though. I find myself at a loss. You've got a whole fortress now. I suppose I should start plying my trade again. It is. In time, it might liven up, though. You're gathering an army, after all. The fortress may do some good with that. I might use the peak as a base of operations. So many bandits about, but none would dare come here. Nice place to store trade goods. You, of course, will get a sizable discount.
Looks like we're done here. A demonic invasion thwarted, a warden base safely rescued. We do good work.
Властелин пика.
Once my family comes, I might have some merchandise you could buy. Might tidy the place up a bit, too. Well, I never...
Здесь больше все-таки ничего нет, да? Надо будет выходить. Пойдем. Вон он.
Ха.
Трик хитрости. Два к урону, ослабление порождения тьмы, плюс 1 к пробиванию брони. Наследие красивее. Ладно, Алистер, у тебя что? 11-20, у тебя получше. Ладно. Что там? А, ну да. Выход.
Going.
В целом, я считаю, что хорошо прошвырнулись. Будет сюда потом вернуться. Пока ничего нету. Сохранить игру, пиксел дата, сохранить. Что мы? Идем. Ой, гонять оборотни или в Астагар? Куда мы идем? Какие будут предпочтения? Дима, я так понимаю, ты единственный, кто смотрит это. М? Да. Еще могу в Астагар вернуться. Совсем сил нужна.
If there's anything I can do, I'm sure...
Посмотри, пожалуйста, проверь там. Где, наверное, великого мастера. О, можно еще эту флемет немножечко вырезать. Нам для нее надо... Нам для нее надо... Раз,
Yes.
два...
Yes.
Indeed.
Шли со мной в башне круга. Нам нужно запастись... Астагар is it. Лириумного зелья нужно запастись. Так, что у нас? Далее. Нужно уровень 15, а этому нужно ловкость 26. Тебя. Ловкость.
I'm sure you need supplies after that.
А ну-ка. Угу.
Going.
Да, вернемся теперь на пик солдата и посмотрим, что там есть. Так.
Welcome back, Warden. As you can see, we've been busy. Cleaned the place up a bit. Even my brother Mikhail came out of hiding. Never will you find a finer smith. Also, got some goods stored here that might interest you. Buy them now before my cousins move it all someplace else. Haven't heard a peep from him. Seems to like keeping to himself. But I keep telling the children to stay away from the tower. I thought about it, but I figured that it's not a bad thing to believe that you come from a line of lions, even if the truth is a touch more complicated. Our family's belief that we were wronged, it gave us strength to make something of ourselves. Certainly.
Я могу сюда что-нибудь сложить.
You? You're the warden? My family owes you. Any weapons I make, I will sell you for a discount. This is star metal. If you give this to me, I will craft for you a thing of legend. Nothing. My family owes you much. And so it shall be. It is done. I call this blade Starfang. May it serve you well. I must rest after my exertions. Warden?
А ну покажи мне. 31 сила. 3 к ловкости. А у меня сколько сила? 28. Ну, на левелапе можно будет надеть. Отлично, я считаю. В 5. Что тебе можно купить?
Warden?
Покажи мне свои товары. Давай с Алистером посмотрим. 2-1. Хелмет, Грей, Ваден, Хелмет. Ой.
Warden?
Of course.
Противоядие гномьего короля-убийцы. Создать предмет. Есть. Большое зелье лириума. 2, 3. Хватит. Так. Пошли. Н. Ясно. Пошли. Розамар. Нам же еще этот Флимет надо убить. Мы будем его убивать или будем договариваться? Встретили кого-то. Дим.
Never.
Very shortage of these ones.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Yes.
Come and get it.
Что ты меня буцаешь-то, господи? Пресвятые пирожочки. Диана, давай.
Where do I go?
And I'm off.
Никто не уцелел. Все гномы сдохли. Дурачье.
And I'm off.
Там наверху еще лежал. Ого. Че, его побрать нельзя?
Ха.
Бомж какой-то. Ну что там происходит?
Going.
Лысого тоже потом убить. Какого лысого? А, Затриана. Ты хочешь убить Затриана? Чем тебе Затриан не угодил-то? Убить как просто убить и этот для и вырезать эльфов, или ты хочешь, чтобы он заклинание свое снял? О, тревожненько стало. Давайте по кроватям, пожалуйста. Ну, пожалуйста. А, лысого бога. В смысле, я с ним мутить собралась. Я не знаю, как убить его, не убить, но я с ним собиралась мутить. В третьей части только. Ну, это как бы там первая часть это Origins и Awaken. Они как бы вместе идут рука об руку. Инквизиция, третья часть. Сюда. Как я тебе его убью, если его не получается убить? Тут. Блин, где-то дурацкая. Все правильно зашло. Травник Ведрон.
Any luck, Warden? She doesn't have much time. She'll be up and around in no time. Thanks to you.
Зачем-то я спасла эту штуку. Ну да ладно. Давай в 5.
At your service. Of course. Never what? Had a good pair of shoes? I'm not sure I do. Have I never seen a basilisk? Ate jellied ham? Have I never licked a lamppost in winter? Make fun of you, dear lady? Perish the thought. Well, tell me, have you ever licked a lamppost in
Нет, там
winter?
есть гораздо более интересные варианты, с кем мутить.
Just the once? And you didn't lose half of your tongue in the process? I'm impressed. I, myself, never had the pleasure. Not that I haven't thought about it, of course. But, you know. Well, living in the Chantry is not exactly a life for rambunctious boys. They taught me to be a gentleman, especially in the presence of beautiful women such as yourself. That's not so bad, is it? Of course you are, and you know it. You're ravishing, resourceful, and all those other things you probably hurt me for not saying. That's what I'm here for. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. Let us be off then, lest your risque talk make my ears blush. At your service.
Что происходит? Какие пельмешки? Кого лепить? Ребенок, ну не беси.
Supporters of disgraced Lord Balin take to the streets. Pandemonium increases by...
Ну-ка, давай мы сейчас всех переедут.
Of all the...
Bastard.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
Vashaden.
Ничего не нашел.
Blast and
У
damnation.
нас получается
Yes.
вот это вот
Yes.
и вот
Indeed.
это. Пошли. Ну типа с этим с Солосом там перепихнуться в третьей части не получится совсем. Он такой весь романтичный, он не этот не держит тебя. Не держит тебя на, ну, на дистанции.
Going.
You remind me of Lady Cecily.
Who?
She was an Orlesian lady. My mother served her until she died, and Lady Cecily let me stay instead of turning me out on the street. You are like her in some ways. You have the same poise, the same air of nobility.
Oh, child, I am hardly noble.
I learned that nobility isn't just something you are born with. I have met nobles who are very petty and mean, complete degenerates. Then, there are people with a certain dignity and grace. It draws you to them, no matter who you are or who they are. I think the lowest peasant can have the most noble spirit, and it will always shine through. It is this nobility of spirit that you share with Cecily.
Why, thank you, Liliana. It is very kind of you to say that.
Так, делаем F5, делаем не и идем к Флемете. Флемете. Нужно опыт зарабатывать. Здесь она нас не вырежет. Okay.
You have coin? Fine weapon and arms, dwarven.
Dreadwolf.
And so you return. Lovely Morrigan has at last found someone willing to dance to her tune. Such enchanting music she plays, wouldn't you say? Which one, I wonder? What has Morrigan told you? What little plan has she hatched this time? That she does. The question is, do you? Ah, but it is an old, old story. One that Flemeth has heard before, and even told. Let us skip right to the ending, shall we? Do you slay the old wretch as Morrigan bids, or does the tale take a different turn? Choice. There is power in choices, as there is in lies. I shall give you one of each. Morrigan wishes my grimoire? Take it as a trophy. Tell her I am slain. You get to keep her for a time. We believe what we want to believe. It's all we ever do. I go. Perhaps I surprise Morrigan one day. Or I may simply watch. It would be interesting to see what she does with her freedom. Enlightening, even. Would you give an old woman that? Shame. What will it be, then? It is a dance poor Flemeth knows well. Let us see if she remembers the steps. Come. She will earn what she takes. I'd have it no other way.
Дракон! Алистер, давай. Лилиана. Вот сюда. Пин. Сюда.
Here I am.
Так. Охуенно. Меня здесь. Алистеру сделали кусь. Ладно.
Right. Try not to look too incompetent. It's
I am here.
Point me.
Yes.
We must fight.
Как же ей насрать вообще просто.
Immediately.
This should be fun.
Oh no, you don't!
Ready.
Yes.
теперь меня взяли в зубы, да?
I shall do so.
Here.
Good to go!
А я продала все вроде, да? Блин. Ладно. О. Да ну хавай, блин, господи, задолбала в меня вливаться.
Immediately.
Очищ, восстановление.
And I'm off. Look over. I never like this part.
Immediately.
Let's make this quick.
Недостаточно выносливости.
Point me.
Off I go.
It wants to fight.
We must fight.
Еще немного, еще чуть-чуть.
As you say. There. As you say.
This is annoying. You force our hand.
Strike quickly.
Полетели на дракона. Алистер там рядом отдыхает. Здесь скорее нет, чем да. Самое обидное, по-моему, что с ней даже подлутать ничего толком нельзя. Флемет оборотень, да. Ключ флемет. Флемета. Экспа, экспа, экспа. F5. Можно было бы с ней, конечно, чисто надо базариться, но я не хочу. Мне нужны опыт. Мне нужен опыт. Мантии обладания. Задушили женщину. В лагерь вернуться. Да. Она все равно воскреснет, и экспа сама себя не заработает. Шли к Флемет. Ой, к Флемет, господи, опять. К Мориган. Где она там стоит?
I await your command.
Будь. И... А где ты? Вот ты.
Mother's real grimoire, is it? I am glad you were able to find it after all. My thanks for retrieving it. I shall begin studying it immediately and unlock the power that it holds. Tis a curious thing. I do not know how else to describe it. No, nothing is wrong. It is a little embarrassing to admit, in fact. I am reminded of our first meeting in the wilds. I had been in animal form for some time, watching your progress. I was intrigued to see such a formidable woman, obviously more potent than the men she traveled with. Yet I resented it when Flemeth assigned me to travel with you. I assumed that, at best, you would drive me from your company as soon as we left the wilds. I am aware that I have little talent for forming friendships, to put it lightly. 'Tis something I know nothing of, nor ever thought I needed. Yet when I discovered Flemeth's plans, you did not abandon me. Whatever your reasons, you fought what must have been a terrible battle without hope of real reward. Even so, you went. No one has ever... 'Twas unexpected. That is all. The extent of my usefulness does not explain the interest and kindness you have shown since the wilds. You could as easily have ignored me entirely, yet you did not. You will need to forgive me for speaking so awkwardly, but do you suppose that we have become friends, you and I? I have nothing to compare it to. Indeed. Remarkable. Of all the things I could have imagined would have resulted when Flemeth told me to go with you, the very last would have been that I would find in you a friend, perhaps even a sister. I want you to know that while I may not always prove worthy of your friendship, I will always value it. But enough of such idle talk. There are more useful things to be done, surely. What comes, my friend? At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees. For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken. And a foolish one. Flemeth was right. Without those lessons I would not be here today, as difficult as... Do I not? I am still an apostate mage, even if I have left the wilds. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely. But such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality. What comes, my friend? We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Пошли по этот.
At your service. Of course. Essentially, they're trained to fight. The other main purpose for a Templar is... perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together. Thankfully, no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templars' talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me. At your service. Of course. Others, yes. But not yourself. I need someone who's trained first as a
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Well now, I imagine that's a very... I was simply never given the opportunity to... To be truthful, I didn't even know the crows existed when I joined them. I was but a boy of 7 when I was The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And was I whining? It's not a life... But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being I fancy many things. I fancy things that are beautiful, and things that are... You did ask, remember? It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. And here I am, happy to be had. Come.
Что ж тебе надо, собака? Ладно.
Looking for little old me? Yes? What's on your mind? My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated, and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais, and did not set foot in Ferelden till much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it. Mother died when I was very young. Lady Cecilie let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecilie than my mother. Strangely, the only thing I really remember of Mother was her scent. She kept dried flowers in her closet amongst her clothes. Small white Ferelden wildflowers with a sweet fragrance. Mother called them Andrastis Grace. They were very rare in Orlais. But enough about that. Let us move on. Looking for little old me? Yes? What's on your mind? I miss Val Royeaux. Unlike other cities where the people are the lifeblood and the character, Val Royeaux was her own person, and her people little more than decorations. There was always music in Val Royeaux, streaming from the many windows, quiet refrains and triumphant choruses, and always, floating above that all, the chant, coming from the Grand Cathedral. It was magnificent. Yes, I'm sure it is, but every city has a different personality. It is... Of course there are good things and bad things about Orlais, like anywhere else. Sometimes I miss it dearly, and sometimes I'm glad I'm rid of it. And you will laugh at this, but I miss the fine things I had in Orlais. Dresses, fine dresses and furs, and shoes, of course. One can't mingle with nobility with bad shoes, you see. Orlais is very fashionable, almost ridiculously so. But the shoes... Living with those ridiculous trends was worth it for the shoes. Sometimes, about 10 years ago, all the ladies went mad for shoes with soles as large and heavy as bricks. But it isn't always that silly. When I left Orlais, The fashion was shoes with delicate tapered heels and embellishments in the front. A ribbon, perhaps, or embroidery. In soft colors, of course. It was spring. Yes, well, a fair amount. It is so frivolous and wasteful, I know, but I have such a weakness for lovely shoes. Oh, I could talk about shoes all day, but we have things to do, don't we? Looking for little old... Yes? What's on your mind? Where did you hear this? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers, but some of them are what we call bards. Many use the two words minstrel and bard interchangeably, but to do so in Orlais would cause misunderstanding. Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are. Nobles, mostly. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players. And I shouldn't I, after having spent most of my adult life as one? You've guessed as much, I'm sure. But does it really matter what I was? What's past is past. I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to say the Maker brought me here. Looking for little old me? That's an idea. I've watched you, and I do think you'd find some of my skills quite easy to pick up. Let's just go over there, away from the others, for safety, yes? I expect there shall be daggers flying about willy-nilly for a time. Looking for little old me? Yes? What's on your mind?
What you need? You want to be a berserker? Thought I'd never see the day. You're a monster on the field already, Warden. But your style just doesn't give itself to mad rage. Too much thinking, too much, finesse. But if you know someone fit for this type of work, I'll teach him. It'll be nice to have another berserker to grunt at for a change. What the sod is there to know? You get mad, you fly into battle, and things die. It's pretty simple. The hard part is getting in touch with your rage. We all learn to hold that back. It's why we don't kill every duster who looks at us sideways. You need to shut that off. For some people, being in battle is enough. But others have to think about something. Violence, monsters, nobles, your wife, whatever. Aye, especially my wife. Well, for most berserkers it does. Several years ago, I worked with a berserker on one expedition who just couldn't work himself up. We had to kick him in the stones before he could get going. Why not? When you fight, you get mad. By the stone, it's a sodding tactic to enrage your enemy so he makes a mistake, right? Berserkers grab that anger and drink it like it's yesterday's ale. Then we turn it against our foes and watch the limbs fly. Well, for most berserkers it does. We had to kick him in the... I'm listening. What about? You get a sword or an axe, and are told to go out and defend your city.
It's the best thing in the world. That is until you try to live in the city you saved. I mean, they train you to kill, teach you to harness your rage at the first noise you hear, then try to set 100 sodding rules about it. Like those provings. Ancestors show their favor through the strongest arm, right? So why so many rules saying how to fight, and when you win, and not to bloody kill? You toss a nug to it's alright. Aye, alright then.
Ты мне скажешь,
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. What would you like to discuss? Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Well, the crows would have you believe that survived that process and but quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is a desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field. Within the crows, I did. But it has been something the crows have devoted a great deal of time to perfecting. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler. See? Getting paid so... Here I am. Oh, this should be good. I was simply never given the opportunity. The crows buy all their assassins but that does not mean doing what is expected. I fancy many things. I fancy things that are beautiful and things that are strong. I fancy things that are dangerous and exciting. As for... It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where everything changed. Come. Here I am. Oh, I swore to the crows that the things they taught me were to remain a secret. And while, yes, they are already angry at me, I'd rather not push things, you see. You need to learn the arts of the crows in order to slay Darkspawn, do you? You seem to be doing fine as it is. If you are truly insistent, well, let me think about it. Here I am. Again? I'm game.
You are good to your troops, Warden.
Так.
Something you need? I'm sure.
Завран. У него силы не хватает, да?
Enchantment?
If there's...
Ген для возгонки. Склянка. Фух. Так, мы нормально сейчас... Ой. Нормально сохранимся. И прервемся на пожевать чего-нибудь, потому что я устал. Вот. Вернусь через какое-то время. Папа.